In the bustling medical districts of Istanbul, Dr. Furkan Kayabasoglu has spent his life welcoming new arrivals into the world. For decades, the rhythm of his clinic was predictable. He would deliver a couple's first child, then their second, and often a third. There was a sense of continuity, a feeling that the wards would always be full of the sharp, urgent cries of the next generation. But lately, the silence in his clinic has become deafening. The families he sees now are almost exclusively one and done. The vibrant, chaotic energy of the maternity ward is fading into a sterile, quiet efficiency. This isn't just a quiet shift in a single city. It is the first tremor of a global earthquake, one that is arriving much faster than anyone was prepared for. The numbers behind this silence tell a story of a world in a radical, unprecedented retreat. For a population to remain stable, a country needs a total fertility rate of approximately 2.1. Today, Turkey has plummeted to 1.48. In Bogotá, the rate has collapsed to 0.91, a figure lower than even the aging streets of Tokyo. While the United Nations has long maintained a baseline projection that the human population would climb to a peak of 10.3 billion by the year 2084, the reality on the ground suggests those models are based on wishful thinking rather than hard data. Global fertility is not just falling, it is accelerating. The pace of the decline doubled in the 2010s and has doubled again in this decade, with the global rate sinking by almost 2% every single year. In South Korea, the situation has reached a terminal velocity, where the fertility rate is a mere 0.72. If this trend holds, that nation's population will shrink by more than half within a single lifetime. We are looking at a world where the peak of humanity won't happen in the late 21st century, but likely in the 2050s. Topping out at less than 9 billion people. This isn't just a rich world problem anymore. Look at Egypt, which recently crossed the threshold of fewer than 2 million births a year, a milestone demographers didn't expect until the next century. Look at Mexico, where the fertility rate has hit 1.6, putting it on par with the United States. Even in India, the global engine of growth, the numbers are staggering. In Delhi, the fertility rate is now 1.2. While the northern states of Uttar Pradesh and Bihar are still growing, they are tracing the exact same downward path, just with a 10-year lag. The national average of 1.9 hides the fact that the engine is stalling. We are witnessing the Great Compression, a moment where the demographic dividend that powered the last century of growth is being replaced by a gray wave that threatens to overwhelm the global economy. In France, births have dropped to levels not seen since 1806, when the population was less than half its current size. Italy is recording its lowest counts since the unification of the country, in 1861. The precision of these shifts is staggering. Data analysis reveals that if current fertility trends persist for just one additional year before stabilizing, the eventual global population peak will arrive 3 years sooner, resulting in 130 million fewer people. If this decline continues for another 10 years, peak humanity arrives in 2065, with a staggering 750 million fewer inhabitants than expected. This is the first time the human race has faced a sustained contraction since the Black Death in the 14th century wiped out 1/5 of the global population. But, unlike a plague, this isn't a temporary disaster. It is a fundamental shift in the human desire and ability to reproduce. The logic of the past, that social progress and gender equality would eventually lead to a rebound, is being questioned by the data. While empowerment is a triumph of civilization, its current economic structure has forced a choice between career stability and the biological clock. And the world, it seems, is choosing the former. While the human cost is clear, the technical architecture of this failure tells a deeper story. We are entering an era where the fundamental assumptions of global growth must be rewritten from the ground up. The transition from an expanding consumer base to a contracting one changes everything, from how we build cities to how we fund retirements. This demographic transition represents a permanent shift in the global landscape, necessitating a total reassessment of fiduciary foresight and long-term capital allocation. As we approach the inflection point of population contraction, the world must prepare for intense labor market tightening and a catastrophic rise in the geriatric dependency ratio. The collapse of the fertility rate below the replacement level in nearly 2/3 of the world's population centers is no longer a localized phenomenon, but a systemic risk to existing socioeconomic infrastructure. We are witnessing a fundamental geopolitical realignment. Aging nations face impending fiscal insolvency while struggling to maintain productivity amidst macroeconomic volatility. The assumption that low fertility is a self-correcting problem has proven to be an empirical fallacy, as capital exhaustion and the loss of domestic demand become the new normal. Navigating this reality will require an analytical rigor that looks beyond outdated UN baselines to the hard, accelerating truths of the present. The era of endless expansion is ending. The era of managing contraction has begun. Thank you for your time. We'll see you in our next briefing.